The Longbottom household, living room, day. Alice and Frank pull on light jackets. They're getting ready to leave the house.
Have you got the wine?
It's here somewhere.
We're already late. You know how much your mum hates to be kept waiting.
Every minute we stall is a minute that I don't have to endure her complaining about not having a grandbaby yet.
Don't forget the chocolates.
Frank is looking behind sofa cushions now.
What chocolates?
Alice spots the box on the dining table.
Here we are.
The box feels unsuddenly light.
Frank, you didn't.
Those weren't for me.
Right, you find that bottle of wine. I'll pop down to the shop around the corner and pick up some toffees instead.
Frank heads towards another room in the house, still in search of the wine. Alice opens the front door, intending to leave when she's walked back in by Rabastin and Rodolphus.
Is now a good time?
Interior, master bedroom, day. Frank has located the wine on his bedside table. He grabs the bottle. Interior, entryway, day.
We've told you we're not interested in what you've got to say.
Frank stops and listens at the door.
Lucky for you, the Dark Lord's a big believer in second chances. You should be grateful. Some of your friends have used up all their chances.
Take Black, for example.
He and that sniffling barnacle Pettigrew are in Nocturne right now, learning their own lesson.
Pretty sure we weren't supposed to tell them that.
Frank has to act quickly. He shuts his eyes to concentrate and conjures a Patronus. A non-corporeal Patronus begins to materialize.
James, the Death Eaters came back. Sounds like they're holding Sirius and Peter in Nocturne Alley. Find them, now.
The ball of light vanishes. Frank starts to conjure a second one. Interior, entryway, day. Alice watches with mild annoyance as Rabastin and Rodolphus continue to bicker.
It's not like they're going anywhere. Where is your husband, anyway?
Frank is just finishing another Patronus message, which sweeps away just as Rodolphus opens the door and drags him back to the living room. Interior, living room, day. Rodolphus shoves Frank towards the couch and motions for him and Alice to sit.
Let's have that chat now, shall we?
Interior, Sirius's apartment, day. Remus, exhausted from the full moon, sleeps restlessly on Sirius's couch. Frank's Patronus materializes in Sirius's room. Remus bolts up on the couch, jostling his bruised ribs and looking around for intruders.
Remus, the Death Eaters are holding Sirius and Peter in Nocturne Alley. Find them now.
Sirius?
Remus stands to find Sirius himself, but he can barely get upright before he sinks back onto the couch.
Expecto Patronum.
A soft silver wisp of magic slinks from the end of his wand, but quickly dissipates near the ground.
Expecto Patronum. Expecto... Oh, I won't give her a telephone right now. Expecto Patronum, come on!
Interior, closet, day. Sirius's body is slumped against the back wall of a dark room. He's looking worse for wear, with a puffy left eye and blood dripping from an open cut on his right eyebrow. He's glaring at Avery, keeping guard. They've both tacitly challenged the other to a staring contest.
Ah, you blinked. I win.
Shut up.
Exterior, Nocturne Alley, day. James and Lily apparate. They move swiftly.
I think we can rule out the printers.
Still leaves 24 other shops to search.
You think this is a trap?
No idea.
Smashing.
Interior, Dorcas's flat, day. Dorcas and Marlene are enjoying a rare day to themselves. They lounge on the sofa, one reading aloud from a magazine while the other paints her nails. The fireplace erupts in flames. Caught unprepared, Marlene and Dorcas scramble to find their wands in order to defend themselves, only to breathe a sigh of relief when Remus appears, kneeling in the hearth.
Madeline, spared Remus.
Sirius needs help.
Oh, of course he does. When does he not?
The Death Eaters are holding him and Peter in Nocturne Alley.
I'll send a message to Moody.
No time.
Marlene, it's protocol.
Marlene and Dorcas's words fade. Remus is distracted by the ringing in his ears and an ache in his ribs. He pulls himself up onto the couch and rests his head in his hands.
After all, class, it is the very nature of the werewolf to be evil.
You're not like other boys your age, son. You need to be careful.
How many times do I have to tell you? There's no need to worry.
Dorcas shakes Remus's shoulders.
Remus, hey, you with us?
What? Yeah, let's go.
Marlene and Dorcas disapparate from the living room. Remus lifts his wand into the air and casts a perfect Patronus. We don't hear what he says to it, but the light leaves his wand tip and vanishes. Then, Remus steels himself and successfully disapparates. Exterior, Nocturne Alley, outside Borgin Burkes, day. James and Lily continue to sneak through the crooked back streets, Lily a few paces ahead of James. As she walks past the back entrance to Borgin Burkes Antiques, she sees a familiar face in her periphery, Severus Snape, keeping watch. He catches a glimpse of her, blinking in disbelief. Lily darts gracelessly around the corner, motioning for James to stop where he is and get up against the wall. James puzzles at Lily as she draws her wand. They can hear Snape's footsteps approaching. Lily looks James dead in the eye and flips the bird. Snape crosses the threshold of where they're standing.
Oi, Snivellus!
Stupefy! Catch him!
James doesn't move, and Snape crashes into the ground face first.
Oops.
Interior closet, day. Sirius and Avery continue their staring contest until they are interrupted by a faint thump.
Might want to check on that, mate.
Avery grumbles and flicks his wand at the door, which swings open and then slams behind him. The lock clangs into place. Sirius feels compelled to try opening the door. It doesn't budge.
Bollocks!
A blue light flickers. Remus's Patronus appears in front of him.
Hold on, Padfoot. I'm coming.
Exterior, Nocturne Alley, outside Borgin Burkes, day. Marlene, Dorcas, and Remus hide in an alleyway. Dorcas peeks around the corner only to duck back immediately. She motions towards Borgin Burkes.
What?
When the mayhem starts, you get our boys. We've got this.
Hungry?
They exit together, firing spells off as a flawless team. The team rushes across the street into Borgin Burkes. Interior, Borgin Burkes, day. Remus enters. The store is quiet. Too quiet. Elsewhere, James and Lily cautiously open a door and see Peter tied up inside. Peter notices them and frantically motions his head at Mulciber Jr., fast asleep, across the room. Remus moves slowly and cautiously through the main storeroom, making sure to check behind cabinets and around doorways for Death Eaters before moving further into the shop. He hears a footstep and hides. Lily and James sneak into the room on tiptoes, taking cautious steps and trying to avoid squeaky floorboards. They manage to make it to Peter without arousing any suspicion, and Lily unties his bonds with a flick of her wand. Cut to Avery. Avery enters the front room where Remus is hiding. He scrutinizes the area, but huffs when he doesn't see anything amiss. Cut to James and Lily. Lily and Peter have begun the cautious creep back to the entrance of the room. Just as James goes to follow them, he makes eye contact with a taxidermied raven, whose eyes suddenly zero in on him, like a security guard.
Oh no.
The raven begins to squawk loudly in alarm. Cut to Remus. Remus sees Avery rush out of the room as the raven squawks. Cut to James and Lily. The raven's caws echo through the shop. Mulciber Jr. jerks away.
Stupid boy!
Mulciber Jr. falls backwards, stunned, knocking over the raven. James and Lily run out of the room into the hallway, following a frantic Peter. Interior, Borgin and Burkes, main room, day. Remus rushes into the main room, directly into Peter, Lily, and James.
Drawings.
Hide, hide, hide.
James casts a disillusionment charm to disguise them and their surroundings, just as Avery stomps out to the hall. He pauses right on the other side of the disillusionment charm, but after a moment, he continues on his way down the hallway. Interior, closet, day. Sirius paces his temporary jail cell with a limp in his step. Footsteps approach the room. He swings the stool and hits the intruder square in the gut.
Remus, Merlin's beard, I'm so sorry.
Sirius drops the stool and pulls Remus into a tight hug. When he releases him, Remus scans Sirius up and down, cataloging the damage he can see. Sirius looks awful.
Sirius.
He smooths the wrinkle between Remus's eyebrows with his thumb.
How many times do I have to tell you, Moony? No need to worry.
Remus helps Sirius out of the closet into pandemonium. James, Lily, and Peter have barricaded themselves behind the tiller counter. James and Lily exchange hexes with two Death Eaters from the other side of the room. Avery takes a hex to the chest and flies into the wall next to Remus and Sirius. Avery looks from Remus to Sirius and then raises his wand to hex the both of them. Remus blocks the hex. Sirius throws the stool at Avery, knocking him back to the ground.
Sorry about that, mate.
James peeks up from behind a cupboard and sees Remus. James nods his head and then casts a spell that causes the entire shop to fill with a dense fog. James, Lily, Peter, Remus, and Sirius make a break for the door while the remaining Death Eaters attempt to get their bearings. The five of them spill out onto the street. James swishes his wand and the front door slams shut and locks. Marlene and Dorcas meet them, their opponents dispatched.
Let's go.
As they dash past, Snape sits up, holding his head with an utterly bewildered expression on his face.
Lily?
Lily kicks Snape square in the jaw. He crumples like a rag doll. Lily looks from Remus to James, and then they apparate out of Nocturne Alley, Marlene and Dorcas not far behind them, just as three Death Eaters finally force the door open onto the street. Interior, Longbottom's living room, day. Alice and Frank do their best to keep Rabaston and Rodolphus there.
I just think it's odd, why would a snake intentionally tie itself into a knot? How did it force its way through the skull? It's a silly symbol when you stop to think about it.
And exclusionary. Surely you have some among you who are in other Hogwarts houses. Why not a badger or an eagle?
Enough! Are you going to join or not?
Oh, but we have loads more questions.
Rabaston deftly stands and approaches the door. Just like when he arrived, only this time it's Rabaston opening the door and being walked back in by the mighty Agusta Longbottom.
You're not my son.
No, ma'am.
You must be the reason my son and his wife were late then.
No,
We were just...
One more word and I'll hex your kneecaps right off like I did your father's in 6th year. If you'd both like to keep your kneecaps, I suggest you depart presently. We're quite late for a dinner reservation and I'm hungry. Now get out.
Rodolphus and Rabaston scuttle out the door.
Thanks, Mum.
I told you lately you're my hero.
Wouldn't hurt to say it more often. Now come along, I wasn't joking about that reservation.
Interior, Potter Cottage living room, day. Sirius is laying with his head on Lily's lap on the couch, feet on Remus. Marlene and Dorcas sit across from them. Peter's leaning against Remus's legs. Everyone is close to each other for comfort.
How are you feeling, Remus?
Oh, no. The Death Eaters stole your chocolate, Moony.
Stupid Death Eaters. Ruining everything.
What are we going to tell Moody?
We don't need to tell him anything.
James enters the living room carrying ice, which he hands to a confused Sirius.
This isn't whiskey.
You can't drink if you've got a concussion.
Who's got a concussion?
Do we need to get a mirror?
Evans, tell them about my thick skull.
Oh, love, that was never a compliment.
I need to tell Moody something. If you said something, we need to make a plan.
We didn't say anything.
Pete?
Peter didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. There's nothing to report.
Sirius, the Death Eaters tortured you.
I'd rather die than betray any of you. I know Peter feels the same. We wouldn't lie about this. There's nothing to tell Moody.
What aren't we telling Moody?
Matt and Moody arrived without any of them noticing.
Anything I need to know about?
Just the usual chaos. This lot got into trouble with their old classmates, but we handled it.
Right. Good. Well, we don't have time to just lie about. The gala's in 2 days. We've got work to do. Black!
Yeah?
Congratulations! Dig out your dress robes. You're going.
You're bloody joking.